What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Also know I'm a certified empowerment coach, president and CEO of Express Your Vibe Coaching and Communications, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, and the Dr. Vibe show is the place for Epic Conversations. We're here Sunday evening, February 25th, continuing a great series called the Speak Life series with our friend Rodney Kellum. What is up, Rodney?
Hello, Dr. Vibe, and it feels so good to be back with you again tonight, continuing my fatherhood series that you're so gracious to allow me to share on your platform. And tonight's title is, Hey Daddy, What's Next? And I'll be talking about the things that you should be doing as a father once your child arrives. And of course, this is the second part in a three-part series of the fatherhood series. So tonight is Hey Daddy, What's Next? And next week, same Dr. Vibe channel, same Dr. Vibe time, is Fatherpreneurship, Making Fatherhood Your Business. And if you haven't watched already, Dr. Vibe has links on his website. Watch the first one, like, comment, and share. Share this post now with your social media circle so as many men and women can tune in, because there's very valuable information. And I'm sharing myself with you. So you need to share this. And of course, tune in next week, and we'll continue to work together with Dr. Vibe. So again, thank you, Dr. Vibe, because I know I love your tag. You know, you're a magnet for miracles and the solution to somebody's problem. And tonight, I'm hoping my prayer and hope is that I help a new father gain some faith, some encouragement, and a path forward on this new experience called fatherhood. And it's one of the greatest gifts, greatest experiences you can and should have. Well, not for everybody on earth. So let's continue. If you don't know who I am Rodney Kellum, the creator of Speak Life, Inspirational Speaking. I've done some pretty cool things that I think should be of interest to you. I've been on CNN for the best-selling book I co-authored called What Your Name Is When Not to Name Your Child. I'm a former Division I basketball player. I'm a husband, father, entrepreneur, or fatherpreneur, and I've made fatherhood my business. And one of the parts of my purpose is to speak life into people just like you. So tonight's talk is the second part in the three-part series. I already talked about that. I'll be covering what you're going to do once your child is born. So let me just give you a little bit of a backstory. Before I share my own story, I polled a bunch of men in a men's group that I'm a part of, and I asked them, what was it like when you first held and saw your child for the first time? One comment said, I was like, man, that's me. I used to sit and stare at my son sleep. One said, I was elated. Another man said, I cried. Heard his daughter was crying as usual when they placed her in his arms. I said, hey, baby, it's daddy. She stopped crying, looked me right in the eyes, and she's been looking at me the same way since. She's a daddy's girl for sure, and my everything. And when I talk to other men that are fathers that are engaged in their children's life, there's a very common thread. It's especially that very first child, when you go from just a man, maybe a husband, to now you're a father. You've helped create something that isn't a throwaway. That's a high amount of value. It changes you. And so when my wife was giving birth to our first son, who's now 9, and we learned she had to have a C-section, and I had my moment of hopelessness and not knowing what to do and asking God to take control. And, she went to the operating room, which I wasn't allowed into because she hadn't had the epidural. And according to the rules, I couldn't be present because she had to be asleep. And I'm waiting in this other room, what seemed like for hours upon hours. And around 4 a.m., they bring this little person in to see me, to be held. And I cut what's left of the umbilical cord. And his eyes are wide open. Most babies' eyes aren't wide open. They're closed, and they're still pretending to be on the inside, all snuggled up. And I hold him in my arms. He was so small, he fit in, my 2 hands barely was out of my hands. And I looked him in the eyes. And for a while, I didn't know what to say. It was just surreal. Like, you're asking yourself, is this real? Like, all my life, I never brought a life into this world, and here I am, all of a sudden, a father, I'm a dad. And then the words began to come to me. And I said to my son, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be there for you always. And throughout my life and throughout his 9 years on life, he's helped change my life, where I was literally forced at what I thought then was my dream job to choose between him, who was then a baby, and my dream job. And being a former workaholic, I never knew or thought that I would ever choose my family or my child over my any job. And here I was forced to make an ultimatum. And I made the ultimatum to choose him, to be there for him in that very moment. And I've made that choice every day ever since. And so if you're a first-time father, I want you to get out your notepad or your recorder, or you want to make, bookmark this video. I'm going to share with you a few things that you need to do going from that moment you hold them to what you need to do going forward. All right? So one thing you need to do as a father to your child or children, maybe you had twins and triplets, who knows, is you want to love. And this kind of love is different than the love you may have for your spouse or partner. It's different than the love you had for your parents. It's different than the love that you have for your friends and your best friends, your buddies. It's different from your favorite sports team. This kind of love is patient because you're going to need it, a whole lot of patience. Because you're gonna be doing the homework with them one day, and they're just not gonna get that problem. You're gonna have to calm down and realize this is their first time ever learning this thing you learned years ago. It's kind, even when they're getting on your nerves, when they don't know how to whisper quite yet, when they've taken off their diaper or their pull-up and they peed on the floor. That happens. Or when they have that explosion in the back seat and their poop goes all the way up their back and up to their hair, it'll happen. Just trust me. Be ready for it. You want to be kind to them. It's this kind of love, it endures through the ups and the downs, from the baby years to the toddler years to the preschool years to the kindergarten to the elementary to the middle school or junior high to the high school to college to when they're an adult. It's going to endure through every up and down and trial. And it's going to already be in you. You're going to have to exercise it daily. And this kind of love that you must show your child never fails. At any time your child needs it. That needs only the love that you can give to them as their parent, as their father. It will never fail. Always be there for them with your love. Secondly, you need to be a teacher. You are one of their first and lifelong teachers and educators. They're not only learning from you, classroom-wise, but they're learning how to navigate through life. They're going to learn, okay, how do I go about with issues like faith and relationships, and how to treat my wife or husband, or be treated by my wife or husband when I grow up. They're going to learn these things by your example. You're going to need to learn to teach them how a man can be patient, how a man treats a woman, how a man goes out and earns for his family and takes care of his family, how a man can and should show emotion and care and love, and how a man can and should communicate. And then, of course, there's homework. My son, when he first started playing basketball years ago, when he was like 5 years old, he couldn't or wouldn't catch the ball. It's a very common problem with like 5-year-olds where you throw a ball at them and they go, oh. And I took my son outside one day, outside of one of his games, because he just couldn't catch the ball, which most 4 and 5-year-olds can't. And I showed him the ball. I said, who's bigger, you or the basketball? He said, I'm bigger than the basketball. And so we proceeded to play catch really close to each other. I said, see, you caught it. I took a big step back. We threw it back and forth. He caught it. I took a bigger step back. We threw it back and forth, and he caught it. I said, see, there's nothing to be afraid of. And from that moment forward, my son has been a much better basketball player. He can catch the ball. He can shoot the ball. But it's those moments that you're going to get immense gratification from, because you realize no one else has access to, the right to, or the ability to teach your child like you can, and you should. You need to be their sustainer, nurturer, and protector. A sustainer is somebody who should do everything that you should do for their benefit, growth, well-being, and the well-being of your children. Carefully consider several things as you become a father. Your career. Sometimes there are many, many careers that are very time consuming that will not allow you to be a present and engaged father, because I've done those jobs. Career. Consider what you're going to do in business, or if you're going to be an entrepreneur. Are the ways that you think about how you spend your time, are they conducive to being a present and engaged father? And I'm going to keep saying that. Present and engaged father. For a lot of us, a lot of males out there, a lot of men out there, we think as long as we pay the bills and keep food on the table, this old school way of thinking that that's enough. But if you haven't paid attention to the news lately, looked online at news sites and soaked in the world's events, it's screaming out for the need of more present and engaged fathers. Present and engaged in positive, productive ways. Ways filled with love. Because I know and believe that men are the cornerstone of family and communities. So it's time for you to really reevaluate how you're going about earning your living. You need to really, and men, I know it's a hard one because, it's sports season. We eat our wings, we eat our food, our burgers and our pizza. But you really need to consider your health and lifestyle choices. Everything that you do, from diet to relationships and what you're doing inside that frame, you have to consider, is this a great example for my child? Health-wise, is what I'm putting into my body going to allow me to be there for my child as they become a husband or a wife, a parent, when they graduate high school, when they graduate college? My mother passed away when she was 41, and I was about to be 21. And it's because of some of the choices she made when she was younger. And as I approached my 40s, getting, knocking on that door, I realized a few years ago that I had to make changes because my health was starting to fade. And I look at their faces, and I know what I went through, losing a parent way too early before their time. And I said, I'm not going to do that to my children. So I want you to take a quick moment and think about your diet. As much as you may have an emotional connection to the food that you eat, is it going to allow you to be there physically? Not just in spirit and thoughts and prayers. I mean, be there. When they need you, is that third slice of pizza, pepperoni, meat lovers worth it? And I can get really passionate about that stuff because I'm very passionate about health. But your entire lifestyle, from what you do for income, for what you put into your body, from how you treat people around you, for what you're showing your children, what you're watching on TV, all these things as a sustainer should be a part of what you do. A nurturer is someone who provides someone with the food or other substances necessary for growth, health, and good condition. Yes, a man can be a nurturer. You're supposed to be. It's okay. Hug your child. Say, I love you. I love you. It may be weird for your mouth at first if you've never said it, but practice it. I love you. Say it daily. Say it often. Embarrass them with your I love yous because they're going to appreciate it and they're going to miss it when you stop doing it. And thirdly, you need to be a protector. You're going to protect their physical well-being, their mental well-being, their spiritual well-being, and their emotional well-being. I'm a man of faith. I'm a Christian minister. And, I pray with my children. I pray over my children when they're awoke, when they're asleep. I speak things over them. I pray for their spouses in the future. That's the spiritual well-being. Their physical well-being. We've changed what we eat in this household. We continue to adjust what we eat in this household. We keep our children active. We play with them because we want them to be physically healthy. Because if you haven't known, childhood diabetes is on the rise. Childhood cancers is on the rise. So there's a lot of things out there that you are the first and last line of defense when it comes to your children's physical well-being. Their mental well-being. There's some really heartbreaking stories out there about children taking their lives, going through depression. A lot of school systems, at least in the U.S., Dr. Vibe, maybe you can attest if they do it the same in Canada, is they're very quick to give children medications to mask some of the things that maybe need to be handled other ways, but their mental well-being, whether it be depression, chemical imbalances, ADHD, you're the first and last line of defense. And I urge you, I implore you to do your own research Don't just allow people to put things into your children, give them this pill, give them that pill. You want to make sure you build strong, mentally strong children, because when they master that skill as a 3, 4, and 5-year-old, they'll be much better off as an 18, 19, 20, and 30-year-old. It has a direct correlation and connection to their mental well-being as a baby and a child as it does to when they become an adult. And I'll end with this. There's a really great book out there. I encourage you to get it, buy it online, get the digital version, get you a hard copy, called The Fatherhood Principle by Dr. Miles Monroe. It was a very fatherhood shifting book for me. There's one quote in there. It says, "Out of man came the woman and marriage. Out of marriage came children and a family. Families create communities, and communities create societies or nations. Therefore, fathers are the foundations of all societies." And I truly believe that that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I have a heart for fathers. I have a heart for family. Have a heart for speaking life into those that may not be inspired and need it. I encourage you to learn how to go from motivation to inspiration. Motivation is that thing that may come and go. Hey, I want to lose 5 pounds because someone's coming around. I want to look good. That's a motivation. You may lose the weight, feel good about yourself. You may start eating bad again, right? That's a motivation. But an inspiration is, you know what? Heart disease runs in my family. My mother died early. I'm going to make sure that I'm healthy to live long enough, as long as I have control over it, and well into my late years, to be there for my children and my children's children. That's inspiration. All right? I want you to find your own inspiration, whatever that is, whatever that gift and talent that God put on the inside of you. Explore it, go after it, because it's a shame for you to leave this world full of what you are supposed to share with the world. And I want to say thank you for your most valuable commodity on earth, which is your time, because once you give it away, you'll never get it back. All right? And Dr. Vibe, I throw it to you.
And thank you for a great rundown. I have some quick conversation pieces for you now. If I understand correctly, you said the 3 key points for this conversation was lover, teacher, protector, correct?
Well, yeah, there's about like 4. There's love, and then there's sustainer, nurturer, protector.
Okay. So out of those 4, which one was the most most challenging for you to master? And also, which one do you hear the most challenging for the fathers you speak with?
There's a common thread with men, right? And one of the common threads when we first have babies is, or when we find out when they're pregnant, if you listen to the last video, watch the last video, is how am I going to provide for this child? So that comes under the sustainer portion, financially sustaining our children. And I think if, as a man, and you don't think that way, something's probably a little off with you, because that's a natural thing. You want to and you need to provide for your children. So that's always been when I first had my first child, that was the first mental struggle that I had. And looking back on 9 years of being a father, almost 10, we've been through a whole lot. We've been through financial ups and downs. I've been through multiple layoffs, let goes, and firings and restructurings. My family and I have been through a fire in our home where we were temporarily homeless, had to live in a hotel. That's another story I've shared with Dr. Vibe, from homeless to homeowner in under 90 days. And through it all, my children have never lacked. Never lacked. And I'm somebody that I will always do whatever it takes to take care of my family. We will have the necessities. We'll have more than the necessities. That's just the person that I am. And I believe that all men should be, to some degree, thinking the same way.
So how did you overcome the sustainer challenge?
It was a mental challenge. So honestly, it took me getting let go, laid off, and fired several times. It took that moment, that one moment where I'm on the phone with my boss and the owner of the company, and the owner asked me to come into the office on a Monday night, which was freezing cold, with my he was months old at the time, to come into the office with my baby. And he said, well, doesn't he have a stroller he can sleep in? And it took that moment of saying, that's not going to happen, to realize that I could always be a sustainer. And I can't trust some outside entity to be this. I'm the sustainer. I am. And my dream job can't be it. a bit, some other entity can't be it. I have to go out and get it and do it. And ever since then, that was the birth of what I call fatherpreneurship. I made fatherhood my business. Entrepreneurial endeavors will always be wrapped around being present and engaged with my son and now all three of my children. So that was my struggle. That was, retraining my mind on how it is that I provide for my family, how it is that I sustain them, and what that looks like. Because my picture before that was always somebody who just work, pop in for a little while, and go back to work. And that's just not the best way to do it. And, almost died. My left artery almost closed when I was like 26, 28 years old. So those are mind-shifting experiences for me.
Do you see the same sustained overcoming challenge with younger fathers? So compared to when you became a father for the first time 10 years ago, do you see younger fathers still having that sustained overcome challenge?
Yeah, and it's a very almost natural thing, because what we're doing is you're combating what society teaches you. Society is teaching you what I used to go through. Go get it. And realistically, those are things that you should do before you get married. And my 1-year-old's on the way.
I know, I can tell. It's wrap-up time. I know.
Yeah. Hi. That's my youngest child. He's a toddler. He's the adventure baby. But we're fighting society. Hey, come on. You gonna be on camera? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, say hi. We're fighting society's idea of what a man is. And a man is almost, in today's, Western culture, someone that's not necessary. Even if you look at the structure of the welfare system, if there's a man in the woman's life, they don't get benefits. Yeah, that's true. I drive down some of the highways and I see billboards that say, "Hey, easy divorce." And I agree that today's culture, it says, "Men, we don't need you." Today's movement said, "Men, we don't need you." And the sad truth is, if you look at the side effects and the after effects of men not being present and engaged and men not being needed, says that men are needed at an all-time high. There's a video going around on Facebook correlating, and I know this is a sensitive topic, correlating some of the events we've seen in school shootings and violent behaviors to fatherlessness. And I'll let you make your own judgments on that. But I truly believe a present and engaged father can build up that emotional well-being we talked about earlier, that mental well-being, because there's certain tools that a man has innately that go a long way in building strong children. And I forget the quote. It says, "It's better to build a strong child than to repair a broken man." And I know I'm probably messing up that phrase, but it's nothing but truth. So men, if you have that desire to be present and engaged in the life of your children, you're going to be up against a whole lot of opposition in the media and in culture. But you have to make a convicted decision. Conviction is something that you can never change. You're deciding this is what it's going to be, because you know innately and internally it's what's best. Present and engaged fathers and mothers working together, whether they're together or not, is the very best thing you can do for your children.
Okay, we'll end it on that. So just remember, everyone, you love, sustainer, nurture, and protector for the fathers out there and those who love them. Rodney, thanks again for taking the time to spend with us, even with your 1-year-old making the break for the camera. What's the best way people can get in touch with you?
Please get in contact with me in several different forms. You can email me, that old school way of doing things, at fatherpreneurship@gmail.com. You can check out my website, speaklife.online, to book me for your my son's amazing, to book me for your speaking as a speaker at your engagement, a keynote speaker, whatever speaker you would like. Also on social media at fatherpreneur, like entrepreneur with a father in front. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Again, the new boss of the house is in charge, so we're going to get out of here right quick. I'm Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show. As always, I like to say I'm the host of Epic Conversations, and this is the place for Epic Conversations. If you want to listen to replays, or watch replays like this one, go to my YouTube channel and put in the search engine of the YouTube, _Vibe_SHOW, and you can watch over 400 replays of Epic Conversations. If you want to listen to replays of my audio conversations, you can go to my website, vibe_SHOW.com. You can also go to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Audio, Tuned In Radio, or Tune In as they say, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio. You can also hear selected replays on thegoodmenproject.com and also WJMS Radio. You can also know that I am a certified empowerment coach, president and CEO of Expressive Vibe Coaching and Communications. If you'd like a complimentary session, touch base with me at Twitter at drvibeshow. Also email dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. It's all right. It's okay. No problem. And also you can go to my website. Go to the top of my website at thedrvibeshow. Click on .com, click on Contact the Dr. Vibe Show, and you'll get in touch with me. Also know I'm a brand ambassador for the only online magazine dedicated to African Americans in food, wine, and travel. The name of the magazine is Cuisine Noir Magazine. The website address is cuisinenoirmag.com. Also, I provide a service called Getting Media Coverage, where I help businesses and entrepreneurs get media promotions so they can elevate their business. So you can touch base with me on that. And finally, you can hear me every Friday morning at 7:25 Eastern Time on WURD, the only, oh, not only, it is Pennsylvania's biggest, #1 listened to, publicly owned online station out there on online at their website, also AM/FM, and through the Google Play or Apple App Store app. I'm part of a panel where we talk during a segment called "Do You Know What Time?" No, not "Do You Know What Time It Is." The week that was, and we look at stories that got coverage and some stories that should have got more coverage during the week. That is hosted by Christopher Flood, the drummer Norris, and Ike Raw. So here we close off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Also, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. And finally, block assumptions. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back next week, same time at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with part 3 of this segment, but more segments to come. God bless, peace be well, keep the faith. And again, thanks, Rodney. Have fun with the 1-year-old tonight, by the way.
Yes.
All right. Good night and goodbye.